After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped, custom size.
Let's bump up the banking but take some length away. Let's send big blocks around another bull ring for a night of racing. Brandon Blank looks to hold his vice grip on the field late in 2021, while Travis Miller and Brett Rolls need to break through. All in all, let's go dirt racing. Let's fire up some big blocks, but they're already fired up. But let's send them around the Cedar Lake Speedway in New Richmond, Wisconsin. Welcome to the virtual New Richmond, Wisconsin. Andrew Cardinale with Caleb Gladney this time alongside, filling in for the Joe Donahue that is going through some exams this week, getting college finished up and getting ready to graduate. So we wish him the best in all of that and congratulate him a little bit early on a really solid graduation here late in 2021. Emerson Arden is on our socials as per usual. We thank you for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for the 6th round of this BRP iRacing Series season. The 4 races in now, Caleb, and the point standings, or 5 races actually in now. There we go. The point standings, they've taken an interesting form. We can see them here. Honestly, this is the furthest thing from what I expected coming into this season. Brandon Plank, one of our newcomers in the number 77X, 2 wins already on the season. Granted, they came a little while earlier on in these 5 races we've had so far. Travis Miller, Brett Rolls, tied for 2nd place. They couldn't have had what felt like any more different seasons to this point, yet they come out drawing up even with a straight jacket Michael Hackey in 4th. Garrett Zacharias, our other 2-time winner, he sits in 5th. And Jamie Porter, who won last week at Knoxville, he is mired all the way back, tied for 7th.
First off, Andrew, glad to be here on the broadcast here at Cedar Lake Speedway. But as you mentioned, the point standings with Brandon Plank at the top at the 6th race of the season is what we're headed into. We're after 5. You got to say what you got's what you got, and you know who's at the top. And the chase is on as we near the midpoint of the season. You see your front runners, your top 5 right there, all chasing the point leader, but 12 points behind is Travis D. Miller and Brent Rolls. So like I said, the chase is on here at Cedar Lake Speedway, and a lot can change in one night.
And a lot, I think, is going to change today at the Cedar Lake Speedway. It is a 3/8 mile oval that was cut out of the land. It was pretty much formed from a natural kind of bowl around the swamp in center track. Way back in the 50s, it was an idea, you know what? this looks like this might work for some racing, and that's what they've done ever since, even now into the 2020s. Can you believe we're saying that? The 2020s, that sounds so weird, but yeah, Cedar Lake Speedway still living large today, and it is one of the NASCAR home tracks, signed on in 2008 and has been there ever since. Fantastic racetrack. Very glad we got it here on the iRacing.com sim. Practice has already been underway. We'll touch on that in a moment. For now, let's take a look at our schedule this season. You see it started up at Sarver, Pennsylvania, Lernerville Speedway on November the 8th. And since then, we've run down through 5 races, most recently December 6th in Knoxville, Iowa, now New Richmond, Wisconsin, before we go to USA next week.
Yeah, you see the Season 2 schedule right there on rolling in close to Christmas. Then we'll jump back after it after Christmas right here on Pit Stop TV. But lots of good racing to come throughout this season. But as we said, we've completed 5, and those 5 races we've had so far have been spectacular and have kind of set the shape of the season as we roll on here at Cedar Lake Speedway.
It is a really solid schedule, I think, 14 races, and we double up on Volusia. First time we've had that kind of thing. Kind of interesting. Haven't really thought about doing that before, but I really like the way they've done so here with the BRP iRacing series. If you cut the series into, or the season into halves, you have 7 races before Christmas, 7 races after, and Volusia checks in as the second race in each half. So I think that kind of works pretty nicely. And of course, several other tracks throughout the season that look really nice. They race really nice, and some others that I think are going to race a little bit worse, but for the better, right? That's going to make things more exciting. I think races like Kokomo and Lanier are going to fit into that, where they are just bull rings. They're not going to necessarily race the greatest because they're going to be all over each other. A field of 26 into turn 1 at Kokomo is going to be wild.
Well, you mentioned it here with how well put together this schedule is. As a dirt track announcer, I must say, you make a list of tracks that you love to watch races at, and I believe just about every track is on this list of schedule. So a wide variety of different racetracks here on this big block Season 2 schedule. Lernerville, where we started the season at, all the way down to the dirt track at Charlotte, and everything in between. So different. You know, that's what you want to decide a champion is a schedule that goes to lots of different tracks that require lots of different skills, and I think the schedule does just that.
It definitely does that and a whole lot more. It's a really solid set of 14 races. I mentioned some practice times. We've got a minute left to talk about them. Here we go. On the left side of your screen, you can see Ryan Susi fastest in this practice session. If you had asked me earlier in the day who I thought would be fastest in practice, it would not be Ryan Susi, but I would say probably that he'd be up there. He's got a lot of real experience in these modifieds. Just first place doesn't seem like him this season. It's been a rough go of things.
Well, he's obviously finding his way as we click down under 44 seconds left in this practice session, but perhaps a turning point in the season for Susi right here as we ride on board. But, you know, it's a long season left to go. We've talked about the way the season has shaped out with the point standings, but obviously he's starting to find his footing here, and it really starts with practice, but we'll see how this speed translates over into qualifying and then into heat racing.
So quick early, hopefully that holds on. Of course, the track is pretty darn torn up right now in practice. 15 seconds to go. A lot of these guys have turned laps in the hundreds almost. Mike Winter out there, he's just outside the top 10. He's somebody I'm watching for tonight. Travis Miller, second in practice, also on my radar. Even Tanner Correa in 8th right now, out there in the same practice group as Susi. He's got to be on your radar this evening at Cedar Lake. So a lot of drivers to watch out for, and boy, we'll be doing our best here in these 3 minutes of qualifying. There's last week's winner, Jamie Porter, spinning through 1 and 2. Yeah, there's a lot to watch for. 33 drivers have signed in this evening, have checked in, and have unloaded in the virtual pits on the iRacing.com sim. 3 minutes of qualifying going to open up, 2 laps apiece for each of these drivers, and some of the first to the call for qualifying going to be Michael Hackett, Brett Haas, Corby Daniels, and some others.
Well, they're getting ready to roll through the pit wall right there out onto this racetrack, and we'll get to see what kind of speeds they're going to be putting down here in qualifying. You see Michael Hackett out of New York roll out onto the racetrack first, coming up to speed. See what kind of lap time he puts down here in qualifying.
Other drivers going to get to speed. There's Ryan Susi, Brett Haas, as I mentioned. Corby Daniels is out there. Joe Matthews in the number 9. He is waiting, actually, on his opportunity to go out there. I think he's waiting a little bit longer. Mike Wenner to the top of the board provisionally in the number 23. Here's Michael Hackett, again, somebody that I thought was very impressive at Knoxville, and I think has a win on the way. And his fastest, purple.
Well, right now, Michael Hackett, as you just mentioned, jumps to the top of the speed charts here. We'll see if anybody can topple him out of New York right there. But like you said, he's due up for a win, and perhaps it could come today.
Ryan Berger now on the Speedway. Some 23 drivers already checking in at a time. 24 now as Alan Slight gets across the line. There's his number 2 as he comes to a stop. Gavin Isley's already qualified. Here's Matt DeRitter in that beautiful number 03. Pachalski goes up. Andrew Clark moves way up the order. He's up to the 8th spot. Brian Berger moves up now as Pat Reiser checks in, the slowest so far, but still a few drivers to go and could slide in right behind him. Garrett Zacharias, not quite top 10 his first lap. We'll see what lap 2 can do. He's 13th.
Well, one thing I would like to note right here is Ryan Susi, who was quickest overall in practice, sits 8th quickest right now. So some of that speed hasn't quite translated over to being at the top of the chart, but still 8th right now overall in the speed charts with Mike Hackett still at the top.
Josh Mbowski now down the back stretch. He's 10th so far. Big hitters left to go. It's pretty much just Travis Miller in a new paint scheme. Love the classic look there. 5th quick on his qualifying lap. Other notables toward the top of this qualifying session. Scott Fritz 2nd. Brett Fisher 3rd. Tanner Correa 4th. And Miller is going to go around for lap number 2. Does he go any faster? 0.67 the deficit. It stays that. A little bit slower. Lap number 2 does not improve. Matt DeRitter taking some extra laps. Other drivers taking extra laps include Dennis Cardinal and Tyler Josh Mbowski. Ryan Beagle has made no attempt just yet. Double D, Dylan Davidson, though, he's on the Speedway. I think he's already got his run in for the Costco Haulage number 73. And Pat Reiser, as we talked about, has been out there. Looks like 4 or 5 cars opting to take some extra laps here. We like to see that. We like to see these guys getting the use out of this qualifying session.
Well, I think these drivers are just trying to figure out this racetrack. Maybe practice wasn't enough for them, and they want to see if they can put down quicker times here in qualifying. It's more track time for them as a whole here as we're clicking down just under 10 seconds left in this qualifying session, and it's gonna take something to knock Hackett off the top of these charts.
A lot of great partners, of course, for the BRP iRacing series. First and foremost, obviously, always Bicknell Racing Products, the namesake of the BRP iRacing series. Can't forget MDR Designs, Jam Performance, Lindy Direct, Creative Turnings, and the Super Dirt Car series. We'll talk more about each of them here in just a little bit. For now, we're going to roll through your first grid of the day for heat number 1. On pole, it is the number 84H of Straight Jacket Michael Hackett with a thriller Travis Miller on his outside. That is your front row for our first heat of the day. Move back to row number 2, though. It's Ryan Susi, the number 38. Ryan DeRitter on his outside. Starting inside of row number 3, it is the Pistol Jamie Porter in the number 45 with Richie Pereira on outside. Starting 7th this evening for heat number 1 at Cedar Lake, it's Brandon Plank with 2 wins of the season already. Can he go for 3? Dean Reynolds will start to his right shoulder, and starting caboose on the field, no qualifying lap, no practice lap. Ryan Beagle just might make it out there.
That's how your field will run down. A lot of notables here to look at in this first heat race. Ryan Planick, your points leader, he's in this heat race. One guy to watch out for, Brandon Planick, that is. So you're going to have to watch out for this as we look at the points after 5 races. Brandon Plant right there with 185 points total. Travis Miller, who put down a decent qualifying lap, we'll see him in a heat. He's 12 points behind, tied with Brent Rolls. So a lot of heavy hitters here going to compete tonight, and I think we could see some point shakeups.
Oh, I think we will, undoubtedly. Now, these heats do pay points. They pay 4 points to the heat winner, 3 to second, 2 to third, 1 to fourth. Everybody else that would not move on from the heat, well, they don't get points. So if you advance, if you get into one of the transfer spots, you get at least 1 point, if not 2, 3, or 4 if you win. So these heats, they are certainly worth it. That stacks up after a while, and that's already the deciding factor in a lot of positions throughout our point standings. In fact, that is why Scott Fritz and Jamie Porter are tied. Jamie Porter's only got 9 points through the heat so far. Scott Fritz has 11. So that's why that's so important to make the most of what you can in these heat races. It piles up after a while. Travis Miller, he's in this heat. He can go for some points here. Brandon Plank, just the same. So some drivers to watch out for, certainly, in heat number 1.
Well, I think those 2 drivers are the ones you're going to want to watch most as they are at the top of the point standings. But it's also going to depend on how these other drivers race around them here in heat and how that will set up for the show a little bit later. But we're waiting to get this green flag rolling here in heat race number 1.
Pace car lights are out. That means we're going green this time around. Each of these races get 2 pace laps, 2 formation laps, if you will, if you're feeling kind of F1-ish. And then we go green flag racing. Out of turn number 4, waiting on the signal from the flag stand. Miller gets this race going. Green flag in heat 1. Lap 1 in the books already. Miller leads. Hackett second. Susie third. Then it's Porter fighting for the transfer. Porter all kinds of squirrely. And Plank into Ritter. We've got a problem in the backstretch. They keep racing. Pereira gathers it up, but my goodness.
Everybody loose off of turn number 4, trying to figure out how this is going to shake out. The field starts to get single file, but a race is on for the lead between Miller and Hackett. Hackett looks low, Miller up high.
That yellow 22 hangs on to the lead for now. For the transfer, currently it would beat Porter and DeRitter right now. A little too far back if you're Matt DeRitter, but teammates here, how handsy do they get in this battle to make it straight on into the feature? Does DeRitter maybe protect a little bit for the pistol?
Well, getting into this feature is most important, so I think you might have to throw this teammate stuff out of the window, but who knows? As we look back through the pack right here, one note to make is Planek, who is your points leader right now, is not in the transfer spot, so we'll have to see how he races with the drivers up ahead of him as we complete lap 6 of 8.
Working down the backstretch, Ryan Susie's got something to say at the front of the heat, right into the wall into turn 3, gets the slide set, now digs low out of the corner. He's going to have to try all that again on Michael Hackett and Travis Miller. Popsicle sticks that time.
Well, Ryan Susie right here going to go up a little bit higher than the leaders, trying to gain some ground, get a run down this backstretch. He's going to try the same here on the front stretch. They come off of turn number 4, white flag in the air.
White flag presented by Tucson Sound Art in Heat 1. Hackett, a little bit of contact there. They get it sorted out. Further back, the transfer spot's getting pretty spicy. Down the backstretch, Porter still leading over to Ritter. Ritter going to try the top side. Up in the attic, not going to happen. Susie, though, he's going to get second in the heat. Porter's going to hang on to 4th. DeRitter the first one out. Plank with them. Reynolds, Pereira, and Beagle, they'll all have to come through the consolation races. Boy, Brandon Plank going to be set through the consies. That's not what you want if you're the points leader.
Well, an interesting heat number 1, and as you mentioned, Brandon Plank, the points leader, not in the transfer position. Gonna have to go to the consolation. We'll see how he will race in, but obviously he still has a lot ahead of him, Andrew, as we're getting ready to roll in heat race number 2.
Heat 2 coming at you on pole. It is Scott Fritz and that number 48, Mike Winter on his outside. Rolling back to row number 2, it's Andrew Clark, another AC. I like the initials there. Garrett Zacharias with 2 wins starts from the outside of row number 2. Starting in 5th tonight in the heat, or the second heat of the day, Brian Berger will roll off from 5th. Joe Matthews on his outside. Inside of row number 4, Des Cardinal. So the 2 guys that I like their names a whole lot, because we've got AC and then we've got Cardinal. They're both in the same heat. And Double D, Dylan Davidson from the mic to the racetrack will be starting from that 8th position in this second heat. 8 more laps to set some lineups, to set some drivers into the feature, and so on and so forth, or set the consolation last chance qualifier lineup. So a lot on the line for these drivers, but maybe not as much as the next few races are going to have, as the T-Berry Motorsports number 48 going to come down to the green flag and get this race started here in just a few more moments. Scott Fritz waiting for his opportunity to launch at a turn number 4. Going to have that opportunity now. Green flag is out. We're racing in heat 2. Out of turn 4, Fritz hangs on to the lead. They race back down to 1.
Racing back into 1, 3 wide racing for second out on the racetrack. That's Clark in second. He'll hold on to second in that green 98, but he's got challengers coming up behind him off of turn number 4.
Zacharias into a transfer spot. Winter hanging on the outside. He's starting to fall backwards at a turn number 2. Zacharias bobbles. Matthews on the top side. Contact. He monster trucks over the back of one car. Gets it sort of back out after a quick wheelie, and we've got to change to the race lead. Maybe for a moment, Clark had it.
Clark wanted that lead, but couldn't get it away from Fritz, but the battle is still on. Clark looking low on Fritz, can't make that pass. He'll follow right in line. Here comes Winter in 3rd. Zacharias sits there in 4th.
Still Fritz out front. Berger now challenging for that transfer. He's actually got a Cardinal, or a challenge from Cardinal, rather, at the moment. They're battling for 5th. Cardinal would have to get up there and battle Zacharias, though, for this transfer. Out of turn 4. That's not going to happen just yet. Looks like 3 laps to go in heat number 2. And here we go. Matthews going to make it 3 wide.
3 wide as Matthews looks low. He'll think better of it and fall back in line behind Cardinal. Cardinal sits there in 5th. Still, like I said, he's got to run down Zacharias for that transfer position. And with not a lot of time left, he's got to get the move on.
Look up front. Andrew Clark starting to challenge. Can he change things up, at least in the order that we take into the feature race? White flag is out. White flag is out. Presented by Tucson Sound Art. Winner challenge into the corner. Zacharias going to hang on to 4th. And from the drone cam up top, it's going to be at a turn number 4, all Scott Fritz across the line. He takes checkers in Heat 2. One car side, oh my goodness. Dylan Davison just went flying into the pits. That's one way to get there.
There at the end of that, yeah, that's what I noticed too. Right there at the end of that, right before the shot cut out right there, Dylan Davis flew into the pit area. So I'm not sure what happened. As soon as the second heat race concluded, we saw what happened there with Dylan Davis. But nonetheless, Scott Fritz, the winner there of heat number 2.
Brett Fisher brings us to the 3rd green flag of the day. Starting to the inside of Brett Rolls, somebody who had a whole lot to say last week at Knoxville. He'll be starting 2nd. Josh Mbowski in the 88J rolls off from 3rd. Gavin Isley is going to roll off from the top side, and he's in a brand new paint scheme himself in that number 18 car. Love the white look to it there. Starting 5th in this race, we've got Adam Hilton for heat number 3. The Beef, Corby Daniels outside of that 3rd row. To the inside of the 4th row, though, it's David DePetro with Dean Meitzler on his outside. 8 cars for 8 laps. Let's get her done.
Well, Andrew, after watching these first 2 heat races, one thing I've noticed is they really are heat races. They go by fast, so once that green flag drops, you have very little time. You got to make all the right moves if you want to get in those transfer spots, or at least hold on to those transfer spots, those top 4 positions. So these heat races going by quickly, these drivers have to make the perfect moves in order to transfer.
Yeah, it moves on pretty quickly, huh? And it's kind of like West Georgia in that way. Move on quickly there. I mean, this stuff is quick, rapid fire.
Very rapid fire and very quick, just like West Georgia Speedway.
Green flag for heat 3. Down to turn 1 we go. Fisher on the inside loses that lead spot already.
Fisher going to fall back into 2nd right there. The outside is the way to go. That's where the runs are coming from. He might fall back to 3rd here as Rolls jumps to the lead. Remember, Rolls right there in 2nd, tied for 2nd in points. He leads heat number 3 of the day on lap number 2 of 8.
Fisher and Isley battle. That's for 2nd. The transfer spot, though, is Josh Mbowski and Hilton. Hilton was in contact with Daniels. Corby is going to run the top side, try and get on by that 3 car who's struggling down low. That bottom side here at Cedar Lake gets pretty rutted up, so they want to use that while they can. And Hilton certainly gave it a shot. Now he's going to slide in single file behind Josh Mbowski. A battle up ahead.
A battle up ahead. Josh Mbowski and Fisher battling for that 3rd place position as we see contact with the wall, I believe, back there at around 6th and 7th. To see who that was as they race past here on the front stretch.
It was Corby Daniels and Dean Meitzler. They get going now to Petro 3 wide with them on the inside. They sort that out, back single file to turn number 3. This heat race is a lot more spaced out than the previous races. Rolls leads. He's got like a few tenths back to Isley, who's got a bit of room back to Fisher and Josh Mbowski. And Adam Hilton is in really no place to attack just yet for that transfer.
And he sits there in 5th, and it's kind of like the way the last feature race went, where they're trying to chase down that 4th place position, all while trying to hold off battles from Daniels behind him. We'll have to see what shakes out here as we're coming off of into turns 3 and 4 and back coming to the white flag here in heat number 3.
White flag presented by Tucson Sound Art out now. Flagman lets these guys know they've got one more time around the speedway. A fight for 2nd, maybe a fight for the transfer we're not going to have. Fisher and Isley, they're going to come to the line behind Brett Rolls. Josh Mbowski will move on. Hilton, Daniels, Meitzler, and DePetro will not make it out of this heat race. They will have to go through the consies. Oh, boy. And that's big, I think, for Adam Hilton, somebody who's looked good these last couple of weeks. Even Corby Daniels, he's had some more promising looks. So certainly big for those couple of drivers. But also big that Josh Mbowski, Fisher, and Isley and Rolls, they're going to move straight on, and Rolls with that heat win, just like Travis Miller. That's huge for his points effort. We've got a 4th grid on tap for you. 8 more laps for these drivers, making up the front row of heat number 4, though. The wild child, Tana Correa, on the inside of Brett Haas in the number 55, starting 3rd. It's Dan Sider on the inside of Tyler Pachalski, starting 5th in heat number 4. Jeff Sharp looking sharp in the 28. Alan Slate starts from 6th. Matthew Beauvais, somebody that I thought he wasn't going to be here. He's in the field anyway. He's starting from 7th in heat 4, and Patrick Reiser will make up caboose in this 4th 8-lap heat race.
Well, this is it. This is heat number 4, the final one before we move into the double pair of consolation races. So the final 4 drivers will transfer over here to the finale, and then we'll find out how our consolation lineups will be set. And I have to say, after the first 3 heat races, Andrew, we already have quite the set of drivers in these consolation races.
Oh, yeah, we do. A lot of fiery guys, a lot of guys that are ready to go race for a win here in just a little bit. Shout out to our partners here at BRP iRacing Series, Bicknell Racing Products, MDR Designs, Jam Performance, Lindy Direct, Creative Turnings, and the Super Dirt Car Series. Waiting on the signal from atop the flag stand, and we are going green for heat number 4. The Wild Child gets us started.
Wild Child slings it hard down into turns 1 and 2. Through almost 3 wide racing down the backstretch, and you see how quickly they move from the straightaway into the turns. They come off turn number 4 to complete lap number 1. Give that position to Haas.
Haas takes the lead, Cedar into a transfer, and contact now between the top 3. Pachalski gets into Korea a little bit. They sort that out as Cedar gets into Korea. And at the racetrack will go Cedar after Pachalski hip checks him into the boards.
Not only will Cedar go up the racetrack, but right now he will fall out of that transfer spot. He's racing back there in 5th. He's got to get that position back if he wants to move into the show.
That he does at the turn number 4 across the line. That's another lap complete. On to lap 4 now. Slight and Cedar, they battle. Out of turn 2, the advantage to Slight. Here we go, top side run for Cedar. Alongside, but can't get by him.
Slider using that top side. Slight down below. This is the battle for the transfer spot. The best heat race for the transfer spot we've seen all day. Who's going to get that position? 3 laps to go.
We'll get 3 this time by as it's all still Dan Cedar in that transfer. He finally gets clear of that 6 car. I say 6 car, Slight, there we go, in the 2 car. But now starting to fall back in as Pachalski went purple on lap number 5. Good stuff there from the 21. He might have another good performance this evening. Haas leads, then it's Korea, then Pachalski and Cedar.
Slider sits there in 4th, trying to hold off a late charge from Slight. Can he do it? So far, each driver moving up the racetrack seems like the top place is where they want to be. White flag out here in heat race number 4.
White flag by Tucson Sound Art. Brett Haas, Tana Korea, they're going to fight for this heat race win. In turns 3 and 4, Korea can't get it done. For the transfer, though, it's all Dan Cedar across the line. Slight, Sharp, Riser, and Beauvais will have to come through our LCQs.
What a race right here in heat number 4. Perhaps one of the closest transfer battles we've seen so far this afternoon here at Cedar Lake Speedway, and it was between Slight and Slider as we're getting ready to move straight on into the LCQs here, and some heavy hitters here, Andrew, for these 10-lap consolation races.
LCQ number 1, Consi number 1, whatever you want to call it. Matt DeRitter on pole. 5 of these drivers will move on. The rest of those 5 that are starting in a transfer spot will be Adam Hilton, Brandon Plank, Corby Daniels, and roll back to 5th. Dean Reynolds going to start this race in a transfer spot. We'll see if he ends it there, as Dean Meisler will start to his outside. Richie Pereira and David DePetro make up the back 2 spots rather. The back row here of 8 cars. We're sending about 5 home, I believe, total between these races. This race will send 3 home. We might send 2 more home thereabouts in the next consolation race. So again, the transfer spot in this race is going to be for 5th as opposed to 4th.
Transfer spot battling for 5th. That's what we'll have to keep a lookout for, even more so than we did in the heat races. This is the final time these drivers will have to make it to the big dance here tonight at Cedar Lake Speedway. Getting ready to go green flag racing right here at Cedar Lake Speedway.
Out of turn number 4, green flag back out for the 0-3 and the 3. They fight down to 1. 1 car already up there. That's Meisler shuffled out of the order. Plank now looks low to Ritter. They all fight into 3. Look at the lunge from Dean Meisler getting back into this race, but it's Adam Hilton across the line.
Meisler knows he's got the whole race ahead of him, and he better get to work now. He's already completed 2 laps of the 10-wheel run. He's all the way back in 8th place. He's got to get up inside the top 5. He's got 8 laps ahead of him to do so, but the battle is eating up for the lead here in this first consolation race.
Props to Corby Daniels in the start. Adam Hilton got the lead, but Daniels followed him up a couple of rows, up now into 3rd. Fighting on that top side of Brandon Plank. Somebody who's just not been looking good tonight is that 77X. He's trying to get things sorted down low on those ruts, bouncing up and down with the left side. Gets it sorted now right in front of Richard Pereira. Here we go, 6 laps to go this time by.
Well, you can see right there, he moved up the racetrack. Brandon Planet wasn't liking how his car was handling down there on the bottom as it was hopping up and down, meaning less grip, those tires getting to the racetrack to produce speed. So moves up the racetrack, falls in line, and he's safe for now in 4th with 5 laps complete. But you can tell right now he's not wanting to test that bottom anymore.
No, So top side's the way to go here tonight. Of course, Knoxville last week, that is a bottom side dominant racetrack. Here at Cedar Lake, a little more banking. You want to get up high. The transfer spot, it's fizzled out right now as the back three start to fight and make contact. DePetro at the short end of the stick. Reynolds holding up Meitzer a little bit. The two Deans are fighting it.
Meitzler sits there in 7th after his hectic start where he got in the thick stuff, in the muddy stuff, but right now still sits in 7th, and with just 2 laps to go, he's got quite a lot of work to do if he's going to get into that transfer spot.
Meanwhile, a battle up ahead. This is inside of the transfers. Number 5 move on. Plank and Daniels going at it as DeRitter's fighting back for the race lead. He wants to get back in front of Adam Hilton. 2 laps to go.
DeRitter wants that lead back, like you said, from Hilton, but Hilton doing a good job just protecting that high side, not making any mistakes. You look at that 88 car of Daniels starting to come to the picture, and look behind him, low. Planek starting to stretch it out a little bit. 4 cars all can go for the lead. White flag in the air presented by Tucson Sound Art. They'll race back to the checkered flag.
Turns 3 and 4 for cars 303, 88, and 77X across the line. It is Adam Hilton straight to the feature along with DeRitter, Daniels, Plank, Pereira, and Reynolds. No, Meitzler is the first one out now. Dean Reynolds along with him. And it looks like that last car, I want to say that was David DePetro, that last car out. So 8 cars, we take 5 of them. This race is actually going to send 4 home. This is technically LCQ1, the way iRacing prioritizes events, but regardless, we've got the second one in order as far as being raced, and this will be our lineup here in just a moment. Starting on pole for this second consolation race, it is Dennis Cardinal in the number 31. Alan Slight will start to the outside of that front row. Starting third in this consi, it is Brian Berger in the number 60, Jeff Sharp outside. Starting 5th, it's the number 9 of Joe Matthews. Pat Reiser starts from 6th. Starting 7th, it's Double D, Dylan Davidson. Matthew Beauvain will join him on the 4th row. And caboose in all of this, Ryan Beagle. Somebody who's looked good several times before, just was not in practice, was not in qualifying, took a little while to get in. Now he finally joins the field and has his work cut out for him.
Well, we talked about how you have to put really a perfect consolation race together, and that's no more than we saw right there with Meitzler as he was got in the top group at the beginning of consolation race number 1, and it perhaps is what knocked him out. So a perfect 10 laps is what you have to put together if you want to transfer over to the big show.
Out of turn number 4, Dennis Cardinal in control of the field. Green flag is going to fly up on the bar as we go. We're racing to turn 1.
Turn 1, these drivers fan out up the racetrack. 3 and 4 wide, contact made in the back of the field. 2 drivers make contact, and the battle's 3 wide for the lead as they come off of turn number 4.
Berger slips up a little bit, almost into Slight. The top 5 working in 1 and 2 now as Matthews is blinking a little bit. That's spelling problems for the mid part of this field. Dylan Davidson now looking low. Jeff Sharp on the outside. Sharp was in until those connection issues for Matthews.
Berger trying to make this bottom work to slide up into second place position. He'll think better of it. Just jump to the top side where he knows it's safe. Contact made. 3 wide racing into turns 3 and 4. All over the racetrack these drivers go.
Double D had come up a little bit, got into Matthews, got into Sharp, made them all split up a little bit, and then there was some contact with Ryan Beagle, who was trying to get into all of this. This transfer spot is hectic right now. Matthews holds it, but not, no. Dylan Davidson holds it right now on the bottom side. Matthews wants it.
Yeah, you mentioned Davidson held it. Now Matthews up in that position. This battle is on. 5 laps to go. Keep your eyes out between Matthews and Davidson. Matthews in the 9, Davidson in the 73. Those drivers come off of turn number 4. Give that one to Matthews. Davidson sits there in 6, but also now here comes Beagle there in 7.
Ryan Beagle hounding these guys out of turn number 3 on the top side. That time Davidson protects. Now there is a gentleman rule not to run mirrors, but maybe Davidson, I don't know, sensed that, saw that, I don't know, but he certainly protected the top side there. Took that back away from Beagle. Now a slider maybe from Davidson. Can't complete it. Cannot clear the nose of that 9 car. Now tries. Hip checks him into the boards a bit.
Well, he might complete it this time. Slides it in a little bit deep. Going to slide up the racetrack here. Down the backstretch. Will complete the slider. Give Davidson 5th. Move Matthews back. Now Matthews tries it again. Slide jobs all over the racetrack here at Cedar Lake Speedway.
That puts Ryan Beagle into the show. He clears them both. Slides into turn 1. Clears the 9. Clears the 73. Takes off. And that's Ryan Beagle gone with your transfer spot, guys. That's why you got to be so careful. Matthews maybe takes a swipe at the quarter panel. White flag presented by Tucson Sound Art. Dennis Cardinal leading the show. There it is. Matthews says nope. You're done. I'm back in the show. Can they retaliate? Davidson makes contact with Beagle. They're going to wad it all up, and that's it. They're out of the show. But will the admins penalize Joe Matthews for that? Unfortunately, they can't change the order, but I dare say that a qualifying ban could be in order. Ryan Beagle was not happy.
Well, that race had everything you wanted to see for a consolation race right there on the transfer line between Matthews, Beagle, and it had, like I said, everything. Slide jobs there at the end, all three drivers trading sliders between one another, but Beagle had the spot he wanted right there on the top side. Matthews kind of slid up the racetrack and tried to take it from him, and he did.
Well, for all of you watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, well, let us know how you feel about that one. That was exciting, at the very least, and we've got a field of 26 starting on pole. It's the thriller Travis Miller with Scott Fritz on the outside. That's your front row at Cedar Lake. Starting from third, it is Brett Rolls and that number 17R, Brett Haas. Will start from the outside of the Brett row there. Starting fifth in this race, Ryan Susie rolls off on the inside of Andrew Clark rather. Starting seventh, it's Gavin Isley, the Catfish down there. Wild Child Tana Korea starts from eighth. Starting ninth, it's Straight Jacket Michael Hackett on the inside of Mike Winter. Starting 11th, Brett Fisher in the number 30. That's going to bring us to the second grouping of drivers here. On his outside is Pachalski. Starting 13th is the Pistol, Jamie Porter. Garrett Zacharias will join us from 14th. Starting 15th in this race, Tyler Joshimbowski in the 88J. Dan Sider alongside. Starting from the 17th spot, it's Adam Hilton. Dennis Cardinal joins him. Matt DeRitter, Alan Slight, they complete your top 20. Starting 21st, it's the Beef, Corby Daniels in the number 88. Brian Berger starts 22nd. Brandon Plank will roll off 23rd. Starting 24th, it's Jeff Sharp. 25th, 26th, they are Richard Pereira and Joe Matthews. Just squeaking into the show with that last lap move. We're already coming to green flag. Out of turn number 4, the thriller Travis Miller gets us going. Already we were looking at 4 wide out of turn number 2. They sorted out for now across the line. The thriller leads.
Thriller Travis Miller, second overall in points, leads right there. Lap 2 of 70 we're on right now. He's starting to stretch his lead a little bit. A nice drone shot. You can see the different lanes these drivers are picking. 3 wide there in the back, in the middle of the pack right there as they sling by right here at Cedar Lake Speedway.
Just letting these guys get into a rhythm. Travis Miller leading. Here we go. The field comes back to us. Andrew Clark starting to make some moves in this top few. Oh my goodness, there's so much happening right now. Honestly, my mind can't comprehend it all. Battling for third, though, Brett Rolls looking on the inside of Andrew Clark now as that number 98's up a spot. Look at this gaggle further back. Gavin Isley is leading all this. Michael Hackett's in it. Mike Wenner in it as well.
Michael Hackett going to the top side right there. He'll try and get the run, but one thing I wanted to point out, Andrew, for people watching, they can see right there, Travis Miller leads out front. He's second overall in point, but Brent Rolls sits there in fourth. He's tied in second with Miller, so both these drivers running up front on a night where the points leader, Brandon Planning, isn't having such a good night. He rides there in 21st, so you talked about the points shaking up, and Miller and Rolls find themselves at the front, whereas the points leader, Brandon Planning, finds himself in 21st.
Yeah, and Plank just has not had what he's needed so far tonight. Has been mired back throughout preliminary races, throughout the entirety of everything. He just has not been great tonight. In fact, if you go back to Brandon Plank, he's mired back in this mess. He is in 22nd right now, fighting with Matt DeRitter. He tries the bottom that time on those tires down there on the inside of the corner. Now, this is a long race. The track is already torn up. He's got to settle in, and that bottom's already been used up, I think, more than anything else somehow.
Well, most of the grip that he's looking for down in the bottom, like you said, through these heat races and qualifying and practice and consolation races, is gone. He's going to have to figure out a way to make these passes on the top side as we cut back to the lead right here. Fritz going to try a bit of a slide job right there. Can't make it stick. Keep the lead to Travis Miller.
That's Clark down low in the black and green, number 98. He took a shot, took another shot after that. Couldn't make the pass happen. He nosed ahead for a moment, just like there. He maybe noses ahead for a half second, but is not able to hold it just yet. Scott Fritz trying to stay on the outside, maybe into the wall. Yeah, got the wall there with the right rear. Trying to, I don't know if he's just trying to hang behind Travis Miller for now, maybe get on by the number 22, but certainly doing some work up there.
Well, Clark continuing to use the bottom now. He'll jump back up to the top side as we look on board here with Rolls seeing a good battle for the lead just up ahead of him now as Fritz will jump to the bottom of the racetrack, or middle of the racetrack, we should say, to get a pass on Miller. Can't make that happen. Miller's starting to have a lot of battles from a lot of different drivers right here. He has not been able to sail away like he did in his heat race. Battle is on for the lead right now. Lap 14 of 70 completed. Leader still Travis Miller.
Clark finally gets up top, settles in behind Miller for the moment. A pass happening further back. Porter gets on by Winner. This is for ninth or so. Man, this has been great racing throughout the field, getting strung out a little bit. A lot of great side-by-side battles. 3 wide for a little bit. Ryan Susie, he's having a good night. Down to the bottom. Slide job on Brett Haas.
Can't make it stick. Crossover made here. Ross will get that pass on Susie as we jump back to the front here. As the battle, it's like caution. You can't take your eyes away from one battle to the other as the caution flag will come out here. Lap 16 of 70. We'll have to see what kind of appears some contact was made as we saw one car in the pit area.
Looks like Jeff Sharp, I think, and Dennis Cardinal. Potentially the 2 drivers involved in this. We're going to try and get a look at it here. Here's Jeff Sharp. Joe Matthews might have been in part of it as well. This should be a nice look at things. Oh, Dennis Cardinal was already turned around. That's where Joe Matthews gets a piece, and Jeff Sharp as well. Cardinal towed as soon as he could.
Well, Cardinal moved and towed away, like you said, quickly, but this is one of those racetracks, and so far one of these races where there's a battle going on for the lead, but there's also battles everywhere else on the racetrack. You just can't take your eyes one off the other. You see right there possibly contact made right there that spun Dennis Cardinal around, and then obviously nowhere for John Matthews to go.
Yeah, Joe Matthews had nothing to do but just kind of hold the brake, try and stop, and hope that the car stops enough to save the car a little bit from some damage. 16 laps complete, at least they will be once we take this green flag, the first restart of the night. Boy, that was an exciting first few laps there. Hopefully that continues on. We've got 54 to go once we go back green flag racing. Miller, your leader, then it's Clark, Fritz, Rolls, Haas, Susie, Correa, Porter, and that's your top 8 anyways. Wenner and Hackett complete your top 10. Green flag is out. Miller off the bottom. He clears him.
Miller does clear him. He'll jump up to the top of the racetrack right there in front of Clark. Clark's got some company right here from Fritz. Those 2 drivers, Fritz goes to the bottom of the racetrack trying to get past Clark here. Not going to be able to make that pass. Clark will hold on to second and now set his sights on the leader, Miller.
Sorting this stuff out further back. The battle for third back on between Fritz and Rolls. Fritz going to lose it. Caution flag comes out. Fisher involved, it looks like. Yes, he is. Boy, is he ever.
Up over on his lid. We're going to look at a replay right here and see what happened. We could see it in the back of our shot there as we were watching the leader. Some kind of contact made. We'll look right here and see what happened. The number 30 car right there using every bit of the racetrack. Look at how much this groove has widened out right here, and it appears he just got spun around and then nowhere for those drivers to go once again.
I think Hilton made the initial contact there with the driver of the 30, Brett Fisher. We'll take one more look back at it, see if we can't diagnose it a little bit more. And Brett Fisher, yeah, he's going to have Hilton Adam Milton here into the corner, into turn number 1. Yeah, Hilton just gets in a little bit deep. Plank gets a little piece of it. Brian Berger, Matt DeRitter, Pachalski down low. Corby Daniels has to all but stop. That's how we wad things up for the second time today. Travis Miller is still your race leader. It looks like pace truck lights have just turned off. We've just received the 1 to go signal. And we're going to try a restart this time around. This will complete lap number 18, give us 52 to go this time by.
Well,
Andrew Clark has been extremely impressive so far in this race. Fritz along with him, riding some power as we take the green flag again. Clark, I just said he's been impressive, not so much on that restart.
Right there, Clark opens up the door for Fritz. Fritz going to try and make that pass right here, but Clark once again gets that long run down the backstretch. We look back through the pack here, a little bit of contact made, but back out front right here, Miller continues to lead, but Fritz continuously tries to use that bottom to get that position from Clark, but that's going to open up the door for Rolls on the outside.
Oh, contact with Rolls there. Rolls gets into the corner straight still. Susie, though, got a challenge in, make it a top 5 battle, it looks like. Going for third suddenly. This number 38 is into things now. Rolls on by the 48 for a moment. Now back behind him out of 2. Oh, Fritz came up, tried to take the spot away. Can't do it. Brett Haas now watching as Porter takes a shot on that 6th spot.
This top 5 right here, as they continue to battle, is made up of some of the best we've seen all afternoon long. Ryan Susi here trying to get past Rolls, not going to be able to make that happen. And all these drivers going up to the top as we see some contact made in the corners of turns 3 and 4. And that will drop the 49 car of, I believe that's Porter, all the way back to 10th place position.
Porter draws back to 45, now down to 10th after winning last week at Knoxville. Slider there from Zacharias, gets the spot on Haas, loses the spot on Haas. As Wenner's fighting here with Isley. Great battles all the way through, even for the race lead for a moment anyways, as Clark continues to try, now falls way back. That battle finally extinguishes. Another slider here out of Garrett Zacharias, another crossover here from Brett Haas.
These drivers trying to pick and choose which groove will work, and one thing I'd like to know here, Andrew, is more contact is made is how wide this groove has been made here, especially in turns 1 and 2. But look at them all the way up by the wall in turns 3 and 4, something we haven't seen so far this afternoon, as every driver searching to get up right by the wall where the banking's at its most to get these runs down the back stretch and front stretch, carry the most speed.
This entire track is opened up. You can see Plank all the way up the racetrack, Correa there with them. Plank gets turned around a little bit by Correa. Correa falls back. They get it sort of back out. Still racing green for now. Mike Wenner's back in a battle with Jamie Porter. You're right, though. The groove, at least in center of the corner, is widened out all the way to the wall. They tuck it back down a little bit lower for exit. Same for entry there, especially in 1 where you can't get up on the wall. When you take your slide, you've got to enter a little bit lower. You can exit a little bit higher out of 2. It'll work out okay. We continue the side-by-side battle. Porter a little bit crossed up. Gets thrown off the corner anyways. The top is just too good to pass up.
It is, and looking back as we see a bit of a change for the lead as Clark and Miller battle, as you see Miller there going to lose that position to Clark. New leader out
right as the caution comes out.
And the caution does come out. I'm glad you noted that. I was so taken back by Clark.
Oh, and he hits the leader!
Wow. And that is something, as you can see, Clark not happy.
And the lead, I think, is going to stay Travis Miller's somehow. iRacing scoring reverted back to, I mean, they were at the line. They should have even crossed to finish the lap and taken the, I don't know how that one goes, but it looks like Miller's going to keep the race lead somehow and all of that. Wow. Just wow. Here's Tanner Correa. He comes into things, it looks like they were already pretty stacked up. No, he turns Joe Matthews around to cause this yellow.
Yeah, we'll have to see if maybe something happened a little bit before, and we saw the way John Matthews was throwing some sliders earlier, and you see where he pulls right up in front of the leaders. I mean, Clark was just starting to slow down on the backstretch, and here comes the car that brought out the caution up the racetrack into Clark. One more look at the replay. Wow.
Now in all of this, as I mentioned, Travis Miller somehow gets the lead. That is iRacing gifting Travis Miller the lead back. I mean, he lost it. Now he gets to take everything he learned in that battle and apply it to this one. Green flag back out, 41 laps to go.
Clark going to try and take that lead here early as the 22 car of Miller slides all the way up by the wall. Perhaps not as quick as Clark. Clark going to continue to use. You see Miller drop down in the middle of the racetrack as more contacts and wrecks back through the field.
Zacharias, everybody yellow again. Oh, he turns left over Allen's slide. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Oh, boy.
Lots of tempers starting to boil over right here as we're going to take a look at the Pit Stop TV replay. Andrew, you have to walk us through this bit of congestion is what it seemed like on this restart.
I'm not sure even I can do that. We're going to try, though. Here's Garrett Zacharias, the black and pink number 71. Starts on the outside of row number 3. What in the heck happens down here in 3 and 4? That's 1 and 2 we're looking at. And as they come back around, does Porter maybe give him a bit of a bump? Does Fritz give him a bump? Porter gets into him. Oh, my goodness. I mean, slams through the 71, turns him around. That's how we have that stack up. But I think the extra contact here was, I don't think that was anything intentional at all.
Well, Porter, you have to remember, was part of some contact earlier in the race when he was in about 6th, I believe, and he made some contact and got up out of the groove, and it dropped him back to 10th. So he's been a part of multiple contacts and cautions today. We'll have to see where Porter shakes out here. I believe he'll still be running at or around the top 10 to 15 cars.
Pace truck going to come back down to the infield. And Let these drivers get back at it. Green flag again, lap 30 in the dust.
Laps complete, 40 laps to go. We look out front here. Miller still able to hold off the lead, but can he do it for 39 more laps? It appears Clark has continuously had the faster car. He just hasn't found the right time to get around Miller. He's got 38 laps to do just that.
Oh, a whole lot of contact that time into 3. I think we get away somewhat unscathed, or at least green. I can't even explain what's happening. Is Ryan Susie's got a problem? They're all going to wad it up. I think we're going to have multiple cars potentially over. Yes, one's over. Is that? Don't tell me that's Brett Haas. I think it is. That is Brett Haas overturned. Oh
I do believe you are correct. That is Brent Haas here, as he is turned over up onto his lid, and it appears just as the leaders start to get running and Clark gets to set up his path for the lead, another caution comes out. We'll have to look at the replay once again.
Problems arising here for Ryan Susie of all drivers. That's where all of
What
this
a good
starts
run.
up.
What a good run for Susie so far today, too.
Until
Though running
now,
there
yeah.
inside the top 5, right. Up inside the top 5, a good run for him so far.
He just ran into Fritz, and they all pile up after that. He was just all kinds of out of shape. I mean, all it takes is one, unfortunately, to go around, and the rest of this field has virtually nowhere to go. Especially once those guys immediately behind, they've already set their slide for the corner. I mean, you've seen it in real life even. Once you set your slide, you're committed. You can't just turn one of these cars in a dime.
You really can't. And it's an aggressive move, and a lot of these drivers know when the right time to make it is. And some of these drivers send it, and they may not necessarily have exactly what they need. But like you said, once you commit to that move, there is no pulling it back. And I think some of these drivers would like to pull that move back a couple times. But like we said, once you do it, you can't take it back.
We'll go green this time, almost halfway. Pace truck, okay. Barely gets off the racetrack before Miller comes thundering through with the rest of the 26 car field. Andrew Clark second, then it's Brett Rolls. Mike Wenner now up into the top 5.
Cars fan out in turns 3 and 4. Brent Rolls here side by side with Clark for second. He'll jump up to that high side. You can tell all these drivers want to get up right up by that wall. That's where the grip's at. They're trying to find as much of this grip as they can. And Andrew, I might note, point leader Plank up inside the top 10 and make him in 6th right now.
Yeah, finally
7th,
getting moving forward. Finally moving north. There he is. Brandon Plank on the outside of Dan Cedar. Yes, there's Cedar on the inside. Good run for Cedar, too. Is Plank going to try and clear Josh Mbowski, that red and yellow 88 car through the middle. Now I think he's got him clear, and he's going to go to work on Mike Wenner. That's for 5th. Oh, my goodness. That car is just turning great.
Plank has got that car figured out. You know, he's moved up to the top side of this racetrack, and he continues to make up ground. Wenner in front of him along with Fritz. Wenner going to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Fritz stays on the top of the racetrack. That's not going to allow any room for Plank to make the pass.
And now our leader dipping low a little bit, starting to catfish like Gavin Isley. And Andrew Clark's going to set a slide job into 1. Crossover out of 2 from Miller. Side by side will go to 1, but I think Clark's got this spot. A cover up for Clark, slider for Miller, crossover for Clark. And here we go, 3 wide for the race lead. Rolls gets into it, side by side contact again.
This is what dirt racing is all about. Slide jobs for the lead. 98 car Clark holds on to the lead, but a crossover by Miller. 2 side by side. Miller going to try another slide job. They're trading slide jobs with 30 laps to go here at Cedar Lake Speedway.
Miller finally gets the lead back. Clark going to have to regroup. Rolls says, nope, I'll wait a little bit. Thank you very much. Sits back now. He's going to try the bottom side. Caution flag is out.
Wow, once again, the caution comes out as we see Ryan Susie in the pit area. But just as Clark was starting to get that pass made, and he made the pass a couple times, another caution comes out, and he will have to sit back there in 2nd once again.
What's bad has gotten worse for Ryan Susie. Struggling on his own after contact off the restart that we briefly saw, this time in a 3 and 4. Throws the car in, just gets a little overzealous, and unfortunately those are the worst kind of accidents, right? The worst kind of caution flags anyways to get. When the field has gotten through some rough patches, they stay green, and unfortunately one driver has one small misstep and it brings out a caution flag. That's the most painful.
It really is, and I think it's even more painful for the day Ryan Susie had going as he had once been up inside the top 5, and you really never know how these battles for the lead are going to shake out, so he might have been in the best position because we saw these top 3 drivers at one point 3 wide, trading slide jobs, and that's what this racetrack and this series presents to the fans watching back at home, is these top 3 drivers, 2 of which are in the top 3 in standings, all going for the win here, and we still have 29 laps remaining.
We're going to have a green flag this time by as one car unlaps themselves. That was Brett Haas. Maybe not a green flag just yet. Pace car light's still on. I think we're sorting some stuff out throughout the field, getting Haas back onto the lead lap, and we should be green flagged this next time through. While we have this moment, I want to thank our partners again with the BRP iRacing series. Of course, Bicknell Racing Products, MDR Designs, Jam Performance, Lindy Direct, Creative Turnings, and the Super Dirt Car series, as well as our partners here at Pit.TV, Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine, Whiplash Media, and BAM Racing Videos. Green flag back out just inside of 30 to go. Oh, Miller all over the wall. Clark gets alongside. That's going to open the door into 3. Do we see Clark go for it? Not quite. Holds himself for now. Miller's going to hang on to the race lead for a moment.
Clark buying his time, trying to set up the perfect pass on Miller, one that will stick and keep him out front. He's been able to pass Miller a couple times, but hasn't been able to hold on to the lead. Miller led the most laps here tonight, continues to lead. Clark also using that top lane, rolls back there in 3rd. Point leader Plank back there in 5th. He continues to move up the chart here. Plank is joining this battle in the top 5.
Really good recovery from Brandon Plank to still make some points out of today. Gets alongside of Rolls now, going for 4th. On the top side, holding steady up there, following the T-Bear 848. Fritz gets clear of Rolls. Rolls tries to move up, and a slide job for the lead.
Once again, crossover move by Miller. Side by side, they work into turns 1 and 2. Another slide job. Here goes Miller back to the lead. Clark will cross over once again. Once again, side by side, racing for the lead. Clark tries another slide job.
Best race so far of the season. This is fantastic. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth some more. Miller now on the top side, right behind Clark. Ripping that lip and down the backstretch. Clark starting to walk the dog.
Well, the first time tonight, Clark has been able to get that lead and hold on to it, and I think now he knows with a couple more green flag laps, he would have been able to make this happen a little earlier, but right now he's happy with that lead. 22 laps remaining. Clark out front, Miller there in 2nd, Fritz 3rd, point leader Plank in 4th, and Rolls in 5th.
Stuff shaping up behind as well as we get close to 20 to go. Adam Hilton's on his side and the fence on his lid even. Pachalski with him. And a caution flag back out just before the 20 to go call. Wait for a replay here as Adam Hilton is a big part of this. He was the one that I saw on his side. Garrett Zacharias is in it. At least behind him into this corner. I think it starts with Pachalski. Hilton into the corner. Does he get Pachalski? Yeah, sure does.
You can see that contact right there. 3 cars, it appears, involved. That brings out yet another caution here with just around 21 laps remaining.
I gotta say, very, very impressive day so far for the High Side Racewear, number 98. He's had a special message on the back of the car. We'll let you read that at home. That one directed currently to Travis Miller and everybody else in this field. He has been good, I gotta say. I mean, he has been really good in that number 98.
He really has been. And you know, he hasn't led. Obviously, Miller's been leading most of the laps as he just jumped out front. Clark did to lead laps. But he's been right there at 2nd, waiting for the right moment, and he found that. Now he's going to have the control here on this restart. And you mentioned Clark, and I know we've mentioned Plank already, but this is what's gotten Plank into the championship points lead. He didn't start off with a good afternoon, and look what he has turned it into. If he can stay where he's at or even improve, it's a pretty good day for point leader Brandon Plank.
Plank gonna try from the top side of row number 2. Green flag back out. 21 to go.
You see Clark gets the control on this restart. He
Caution
will hold
already.
on to that lead, and caution is out
Oh my
already as we have a
goodness.
jumbled mesh through the back of the field.
Somebody woke up today and decided they wanted jambalaya in turns 1 and 2. Take a look at things. I don't know where this is going to start, but I know that wherever we're looking, it's going to end up. Easily the biggest wreck we've seen so far this season. This is a green flag. Down to the corner. Wenner gets tagged by DeRitter, it looks like. Oh, my goodness.
It just seems like, and this is a racing term, cautions breed cautions, but at this racetrack, if you're anywhere around one, even if you don't cause it, you have nowhere to get away from it.
It is really hard to adjust a car on the fly in the slick, right? I mean, it is just nearly impossible. And yeah, DeRitter lined up right behind Wenner. I mean, got to give more space into a corner. I think that's the lesson here. That's what we've been trying to preach subtly, is you got to give more room into a corner.
Set to go back, green flag racing here with 20 laps to go. And with 20 laps to go, Andrew, I believe it's starting to get to that moment where it's put up or shut up time. We've seen a lot of cautions, but you don't know that there's going to be another one. You're in that lap span with 20 laps to go, getting ready to turn them loose. I think we're getting ready to see something exciting between these leaders, Clark, Miller, Rolls, and even points leader Plank.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Scott Fritz and if you want a chance to win this race, you got to go now, right? Andrew Clark has already made his moves. He's put himself in the best position to win this race at this point. He's already in the lead, has the advantage on these restarts. But if you're Scott Fritz, Travis Miller, if you want a chance back at this race winner for the 22 car, you've got to go now. It's got to happen. There's no more excuses. Green flag back out, 20 to go across the line there.
Clark jumps up high here, holding on. Gonna hold on to that pass as we see Rolls fall a little bit further. Fritz and Plank battle for third. Rolls goes to that top side now. He's in fifth. Gonna get that run and hold on to that fifth place position. Fritz sits there in fourth, and now Plank up to third, the highest he's been all afternoon.
Scott Fritz finally gets cleared by that 77X. And more of the same drivers rising to the occasion here later on in the day. Much what we've gotten used to here between the 22, the 77X, and the 17R. This is what we expected of them. This is what we hoped for them each and every race weekend. Well, for the back here, Dan Cedar, a fantastic top 10 run. We're almost down to 15 to go. He could have a chance at the top 5 if he can get back up to Tyler Josh and Bowski and Scott Fritz. 4 wide into the corner almost. Hackett through the middle. Gets by Alan Slight, the wild child, Tana Correa on the bottom side. Adam Hilton is in this. Richie Pereira. Jamie Porter gets into the wall. The Pistols moving backwards.
Battles all over the racetrack. It seems like anywhere between 7th through 20th, you could throw a blanket over. These drivers.
There we go. Jamie Porter gets turned.
Contact, and there it is. There it is. All drivers hold on, though, and continue to race. No caution so far as they continue to race, and I'm not sure, Andrew, how any of those drivers were able to avoid the inevitable right there.
Your guess is as good as mine, but Jamie Porter is a god right now. Saved that car, got it back rolling, continues on, lives to see the next lap. Great stuff. Jeff Sharp on the bottom now as Porter goes to the middle. These guys are all kind of mixed up. Korea battling with Cedar and Hackett. Cedar took the short end of the stick, dropped back to these guys now. Oh my goodness, great stuff. We've got a battle for Brett Rolls and Brandon Plank. 3 championship contenders at this point of the season in a line.
Just how they sit, 1, 2, 3 in the point standings. A little bit different how they run on the racetrack, but all 3 battling for the same spot on the track. It's second. Miller in second, Plank in third, fourth is Rolls as they continue to run as the caution finally does come out here after a car spins in turns 3 and 4, and that will bring out a yellow with 11 laps remaining.
Jamie Porter in trouble from 0 to 0 this week. Has not been his own fault. He's got hit a couple of times, and I think this one's going to be much of the same. Here's a look at things for the number 45 car. Side-by-side contact there with Zacharias. Wenner on the inside, Sharp out front, Hilton out back. And Zacharias then goes through the middle of these 3. Slides up, gets the spot. Where does Porter spin in all this? It's in 3 and 4, I believe. There it is. Side-by-side contact just got into Zacharias. And maybe a little bit of iRacing's kind of hitbox at work.
Well, 11 laps remaining. I can tell you one driver who didn't want to see that caution, and it's Clark, as he had checked out up front. He knew a battle was getting ready to heat up for second. It actually already had started to heat up, and with those drivers battling, he was looking to race off into the sunset. So we've had 9 cautions here, 1 lead change. That was between Clark and Miller right here in New Richmond, USA, right here at Cedar Lake Speedway.
The field going to get formed back up. We are on the precipice of having 10 laps to go. And virtual fans turning out in droves this afternoon in New Richmond, Wisconsin. Got to hold the race at day, I feel like, because it's a little bit cold this time of year. Green flag is on the way for our field of 26. 4 drivers have parked it, so field of 22. Green flag back out. Andrew Clark back to the point.
He jumps out front once again, going to hold that lead over Miller. Plank using the bottom of the racetrack. We found out his car doesn't work that well down there, but he's making it work right now. Rolls, Miller, and Plank all battle for second out on the racetrack.
Plank and Rolls side by side. Plank down low, Rolls up high. They work through 1 and 2. Rolls gets that spot. Plank going to have to regroup, get back after it.
Rolls down to the bottom of the racetrack, going to try a bit of a slide job there. Can't make it stick. The run obviously coming from Miller down the straightaway, going to make that work. Contact made between the 77 of Plank and the 17 of Rolls.
Yeah, Rolls got in there a little deep, got the fence, but he got a little bit of help. In deep again, gets the wall, and Plank tries to clear him, does by force. Now Rolls to the middle, throws it in, almost washes up into Plank, has to admit defeat there as Josh Mbowski's approaching. Josh Mbowski goes low, Rolls goes low. The entire racetrack is opened up.
When that 77 car of Plank sets his nose in a direction, the car grips the racetrack well and puts that car there. Back out front, Clark starting to stretch his lead. 6 laps to go, now make it coming down to 5 laps to go. Put up or shut up time for the leaders out front.
The entire field works on by. Brett Rolls up top. There's a side-by-side further back. That's Correa and Hackett. They get it sorted out. Love to see this from Michael Hackett. Back into the race, at least up front for the moment, with 5 laps to go. Now Andrew Clark has taken off. Somebody said in Facebook chat a bit ago, as caution flag comes out, I want to credit Daniel Coben saying, an Andrew Clark in clean air is dangerous. Yes, he is. Yellow flag comes out there, I dare say, for Alan Slight. He's the slow car that I see out here, and yes, he has got some problems. It doesn't render quite right for us, but I can tell you that rear end housing is not where it should be.
We're getting a chance to look at this replay to see exactly what happened. Clicked under 5 laps to go here in this race when the caution flag came out. Let's see what happened here as they work into turns 1 and 2 right here. High up there on the racetrack. Let's take a look right here. And you can see just got up into the thick stuff, out into the muck on the outside of the racetrack in that groove. And once he's there, there's no more grip. It slows you down, allows the car, as you saw behind him, to run in the back of him. And then it's anybody's guess as what's going to happen to that car when you get slammed in the back for slowing down, getting into that muck.
Now, the only thing now is he's got a tow. He cannot stay there. There we go. Finally tows. Yeah, he could not have stayed there. That would have drawn another yellow flag if he had stayed there and not towed back to the pit lane. Glad he's done so. Takes that car out of the racetrack and unfortunately is done for this race. We've only got 5 laps to go. We'll have 4 at the restart. And it looks like we've gone single file. Oh, boy. Andrew Clark, this is his race to lose. He's going to have all of the advantage in the world here on this restart. We're going to see it all happen this time at a turn number 4. Green flag turns down the racetrack, and he is gone.
What a restart for the leader, Clark, as everybody jumps up to the top side of the racetrack and just follows suit. Nobody ducks down to the bottom of the racetrack, at least not in the first 4 cars. As you see, Rolls now try his luck down at the bottom of the racetrack. He'll try and get a position on point. The leader, Plank, can't make it happen.
Hackett and Correa going at it. 3 laps to go. The last time by Andrew Clark, the race leader, through 3 and 4. Popsicle sticks this time.
Coming down 2 laps to go, as Andrew just mentioned. Miller not anywhere close to try and make a pass on Clark. But I tell you what, that battle is heating up for second as they work into turns 3 and 4. White flag in the air for the leader, Clark.
White flag presented by Tucson Sound Art for the high side racewear, number 98. Top side of 1 and 2. He's got over a second back to second, and they might mix it up out of the corner, but Andrew Clark is going to leave turn 4. A race winner in the BRP iRacing Series drag race for 3rd. It's Plank. Oh my goodness. Big race win there for the number 98. It was kind of questionable whether or not he was one of the guys that could maybe be considered an elite, maybe top 5 or 10 or so in this league. He had been so good a couple of races, had kind of faltered in others. Tonight, he shows where he belongs, and that is in victory lane.
Well, he pulls right there in victory lane. What a sight that is to see that 98 car of Clark parked right there in victory lane. You know, he really had to work for this win tonight, Andrew. It didn't come easy. There was multiple times where he was battling for the lead and cautions came out, and he continuously had to set up passes on Miller. And once he finally made that pass with about 25 laps to go, he set sail, and nobody else had anything for him.
Before we take our post-race break, a reminder of all of our partners here for the BRP iRacing Series: MDR Designs, Vignal Racing Products, Jam Performance, Lindy Direct, Creative Turnings, and the Super Dirt Car Series. We'll talk more about them on the far side of this break. Don't go anywhere. Our partners here at Bits.TV have quick messages for you before our top 3 interviews from Cedar Lake Speedway.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the virtual Cedar Lake Speedway in the virtual New Richmond, Wisconsin. A look at it here a little before this race, and this day of racing tore up the racetrack, rubbered it in, and Andrew Clark walks away from race number 6 on this season of the BRP iRacing Series, a race winner. Andrew Clark, what a showing. I don't know if you could put a better race together aside from maybe starting on pole. You showed early, you had speed, you got up there, and you had to pass Travis Miller twice.
Battle started getting good between me, Travis, and Brett, and I got him at the line, almost was going to get him at the line. The yellow saved him a little bit, but man, Travis is a fast driver and he's a clean driver also, and it was fun racing with him.
As a driver in those situations, how frustrating is that you're working to try and get by the guy and somebody further back has one kind of little mistake and suddenly you got to work back at it again. You got to go back out there, set him back up, and now he knows your moves.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating, you know. All I had to do was just make it to the line, and I would have been in first and wouldn't have had to worry about it. But luckily, I got a good restart right after that and was able to. He slid me into 1, and I slid him into 4, and I was just never looking back from there. It was just setting my sights on winning this.
Now, Caleb and I were in awe of how this racetrack changed from qualifying all the way to the checkered flag. It always seemed like the groove was moving around a little bit. Started out, it was kind of opened up. You could race almost anywhere, then the bottom, then the top, then back to the bottom, back to the top. What worked best for you? And when you came back up to Travis Miller the second time, what were you trying to do there as far as the track went?
Yeah, I live and die by the top, you know. I'm not much of a bottom feeder guy, so any track that the top is decent fast at, I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be trying to make it work. And luckily, you know, Cedar Lake is a track where it's just so dominant in 1 and 2 on the top that you can run any line in 3 and 4 and you're about the same speed no matter what. So it was just trying to find the top in 1 and 2, and then near the end it started getting to the slider line. I think I found that a little bit before Travis, and that's what kind of gave me a little bit of advantage. And I saw him start to do it after I got by him, and it just was dominant tonight.
USA International next week. Call your shot now. Where do you finish?
I don't know. Rough track for me, but hopefully a top 5, maybe even a top 3 would be nice for us.
All right, buddy. I'm nothing but impressed. 22 laps later when it was said and done, but I think that number could have been a whole lot higher. Congratulations. Cedar Lake Speedway is yours in this season of the BRP iRacing Series. Live it up. Celebrate a little bit. Have a beer on us. We'll see you next time at USA.
Thank you.
That's Andrew Clark. After his first race win of this BRP iRacing Series, the high side race where number 98 was good. We'll pass things on down to a rookie in this situation, Caleb Gladney with Travis Miller.
Well, Travis Miller, one of these drivers that led most of the laps here in the early portion of this race. Travis, you started first, finished second. Take us through the ups and downs of your day and during this 70-lap main event.
I'm not too sure. I guess starting first kind of sucks sometimes. You don't really get to see where everybody's running, and it can kind of screw you over near the end of a race. But Andrew is just real clean on the top there. He was really smooth, and I think he was just getting through the bumps on the top a lot better than I was. I think I was overdriving the car a little bit, and he came out on top there.
Well, you led 38 laps today, so overall a very impressive day. And we got to say, the heat race went well for you as long as the feature. As this track started to change and the groove started to widen up, it seemed like everybody jumped to the top. How did your car handle necessarily versus out front, necessarily behind Andrew Clark there in second?
Yeah, when we were out front, it was really good. I think we just I hadn't practiced on a track that got that slick, so I hadn't felt the natural bumps that would form on the top there. And when you got in traffic, if you were right behind him, the air, not getting any air on your nose, would kind of swing your front end to the wall. So that made it a lot tougher. But I think he was trying to just slide the car into the top in 1 and 2, and I was kind of going through the bumps, and I think that's where he was making up most of his time. And it, we lived to see another day, but unfortunately we couldn't capitalize on anything there.
Well, coming into Cedar Lake Speedway, a track that always produces good racing, we saw a lot of cautions and a lot of hectic racing throughout the back of the field. You kept your nose clean, and overall good points day for you. So a lot of good takeaways still to take away with a second overall place finish.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I saw that Brandon didn't get through his heat there, so we gained some points through the heat race, and then we led the most laps tonight, and we finished ahead of him. But I knew that he was going to be a threat to win regardless of where he started. It's just there's so many laps that as long as everything kind of plays out the way you want it to, he'll make his way to the front there. And same with a lot of the guys in the top 5 in points. They'll all find their way to the front sooner or later during the race. And I was lucky that we were able to stay ahead of him there. I think he was a little faster at the end, and I was kind of holding him up. But it's real tough to pass when the track gets slick like this. So I'll take a second for sure.
Well, you heard it here, right here from second place finisher Travis Miller, who led the most laps, 38 laps led, brings it home in second. He talks about all the changes to the racetrack and the bumps and the grooves, but nonetheless, Travis Miller with a good points day. He'll bring it home in second here at Cedar Lake Speedway.
Travis, the Thriller Miller, a really, really good day, backing up some really good efforts to start this season out, but it's only just enough to stay ahead of the guy leading the points that I think is certainly going to stay ahead of Travis Miller and company. Brandon Blank, so good this season, 2 wins already. Not quite a win for you, Brandon, but another really good day, but you had to come through the field this time. Tell us about that travel through some maybe no man's land, certainly.
Yeah, man, I really did a bad job in qualifying. I missed it on the first lap and kind of told myself, all right, don't do that again, and went in and caught that. There's a rut that kind of forms getting into 1 and 2, and I caught it pretty awkward both laps and really just didn't have a good time trial. And then, yeah, just had to kind of come up through the heat the best I could, and then Conci the best I could too. Still really wasn't making any progress there. But the feature went a little bit better, and the track widened out, and the top was really dominant, and I was able to kind of capitalize on some of the pileups and kind of keeping my nose clean the best that I could.
Capitalize you did. I've got a question for you regarding qualifying, time trials, whatever you want to call it. How, as a driver, especially in the points lead, how do you set up for that mentally? What is your game plan, I guess? And when something goes wrong with that, you kind of already talked a little bit on it, but how do you recover when you know you're going to be deep in the heats and probably the concedes like you were?
Yeah, I think that preparation-wise, I really didn't have a lot of laps here this week, so I didn't know kind of where to be. I kind of stuck to the middle and, figured the top kind of looks marbly when they reset the track like that. So it's kind of a game time decision. I'm trying to figure out where to kind of keep the best momentum up or not pinch the car off so much and stay out of the loose stuff. And, it's kind of just a reaction more than anything, in time trials. And then the heat race and feature starting so far back like that, you try to just not get into guys. And, if you keep the nose clean, that when everybody comes piling in, you're not going to get shoved into anybody. If you can kind of keep your nose in a direction where there isn't another car when everybody piles up. So it's really just kind of defensive driving more than anything.
USA next week before we have Christmas, right in between races. Obviously, time maybe not as open as it was earlier in the year. How do you get ready for USA next week, especially at a really, really fast and longer racetrack?
Yeah, it's not a place that I have a lot of laps at recently, probably within the last year, and we've been really busy at the shop and just going to try to get some, time on the simulator and try to get some laps around there and hopefully time trial better next week.
Now, you mentioned the shop. I know a lot of guys in this series, you've all got some kind of racing background, be it even just sim racing for an extended period of time. A lot of guys have experience in modifieds, be it 358s, big blocks, what have you. Where do you come from in racing? What's your story?
Yeah, so I grew up with my dad, Dale Plank, racing for a living, and I ran karts when I was young and some full-size cars, some sportsman stuff when I was 15, 16, and I ran probably half a dozen small block, big block shows when I was 16 and 17, and then I kind of diverted and went to school for lacrosse and engineering, and kind of with the goal of wanting to get back into the racing industry sometime. And we've started Dig Race Products, and we manufacture shock absorbers for these cars, and it's just me and my dad Dale, and we're having fun building shocks, and we got a good amount of guys on board, got good guys on board, so we're at the races every chance we can get on the weekends with a track support van, and racing is all we like to do. So
there you go, ladies and gents. That's the story of Brandon Plank. He is quickly cruising along to a chance at a championship, buddy. Congratulations on another podium. We'll see you next week at USA.
Yeah, thank you guys. You do a great job.
Appreciate all that you do in the driver's seat. Brandon Plank, really, really solid day out there. Made things exciting too, coming back to the field. We went on board with him when he was back in like 22nd earlier on in this race. Really, really good day for Brandon. A big shout out to our partners here with the BRP iRacing series, of course, leading things off as usual with Bicknell Racing Products, BRP, if you will, the namesake of the BRP iRacing series. Can't forget MDR Designs, your one-stop shop for all things graphic design. Find them on Facebook at MDR Designs, helping you look the best you possibly can. Jam Performance, now that the plug that I was handed was just if you know, you know. Proud supporter of the BRP iRacing series for a very long time now. Jam Performance gets it done for you. Lindy Direct, the largest industrial, medical, and specialty gas supplier in the world. That's right, ladies and gents, I said in the world. Head over to lindydirect.com to find your closest location for Lindy Gas and Equipment Incorporated. Creative Turnings creates some fantastic custom wood and acrylic pens, bowls, cutting boards, and more. Find them on Facebook and pick up the perfect present for the ones you love. Creative Turnings of Waterford, Connecticut might be my destination for my Secret Santa gift. We're having a Pit Stop TV Secret Santa, and honestly, I might have to look over to Creative Turnings a little bit, see what they've got over there, and get my one of my guys a nice little gift for Christmas. I might even get the rest of the guys something. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, the Super Dirt Car Series is the Northeast Premier Series, showcasing the big block modifieds premier drivers. The ground-pounding, earth-shattering, window-rattling beast of the Northeast. It is the Super Dirt Car Series. Oh boy, that is a lot of words to get out there. Of unofficial results this evening from, the Cedar Lake Speedway in the virtual New Richmond, Wisconsin. Here you have it. Andrew Clark up front, Travis Miller second, Brandon Plank third, Brett Rolls fourth, Tyler Josh and Bowski your top five here. The rest of the top 10, Caleb Tanner Correa, Michael Hackett, Mike Winner, Richard Pereira, and Dan Sider.
Look back through the rest of the field. This is 11th through 20th. Jeff Sharp brings it home just outside the top 10 and 11th. Matt D. Ritter there in 12th. Scott Fritz, 13th. 14th, Brian Berger. 15th, Joe Matthews. 16th, Brett Haas. Brett Haas had a pretty good run going today. Gavin Eisel in 17th. Adam Hilton, 18th, another driver who showed hints of running up inside the top 10. 19th, Corby Daniels. And 20th, Garrett Zacharias.
Zacharias 1 lap down. The next car 1 lap down is Alan Slight, 5 laps down. Dare say he did not make the call to the checkered flag. Jamie Porter there with him, 22nd. Pachalski 23rd, 16 laps down. Susie DNF's out of this one, 24th after a really solid start to the day. Brett Fisher, Dennis Cardinal, they both look pretty promising, especially that 30 car ends up 53 laps down, 55 laps down, the piece of them. So 25th, 26th, and for those two guys. Our partners at Pit Stop TV, they do a whole lot for us. Of course, Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Makeup in Maine, Whiplash Media, BAM Racing Videos. Caleb, tell us more about them.
The Pit Stop TV broadcasts, like you said, are brought to you by Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. Use code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. Also, Permanent Makeup in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. Whiplash Media, official graphics and camera provider of Pit Stop TV and BAM Racing Videos. By a race fan for the racing community.
Really, really a solid day under the sun in New Richmond, Wisconsin. Really, really good day of racing. Fantastic stuff. That said, we've got a whole lot more coming up here at Pit Stop TV. One of those races is even back in the great state of Wisconsin. We head down to Atlanta, Georgia. Caleb, that's your stopping grounds. Hampton, Georgia, technically, for the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Outlaws Sim Series, and their Championship 4 race. Now, Emerson Arden, our social media guy, he makes all of that stuff happen. He's here. I'm going to have him unmute his mic real quick because I want him to tell everybody about every single race, or reason rather, they need to watch this race on Wednesday night.
Well, look, the Outlaw Sim Series has ran 21 hard-fought, highly contested truck races this season, and it all comes down to this, the Championship 4 race. We have last season's champion looking to defend his crown, Seth Berger, going against some of the heavyweights this season, Joseph Kazi and Greg Holt dominating this season, multiple wins for both drivers, and Jeremiah Stutzman, the strategy genius himself, strategizes his way into the Championship 4, going to the Atlanta Motor Speedway with its, I guess, now past configuration with the older asphalt is going to be an absolute cheese grade of a racetrack on those tires. Those trucks are going to be slipping and sliding, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun this Wednesday night. You won't want to miss it. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, the season finale, Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Thank you, Emerson. It's certainly going to be a fun one Wednesday. Cannot wait to crown a champion. Then Thursday, as I mentioned, back in Wisconsin, this time up at Elkhart Lake with the North American Racing League, also crowning a champion Thursday evening for the North American Racing League GT3 Series. It's been a lot of fun. I dare say Pedro de Oliveira S has got it about wrapped up for Full-Time Esports and Tony Kanon's racing team. You go over to the amateur category, and it's looking like William Coffey might have the edge, but you've got to tune in Thursday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern to find out. And Sunday, we take more sports cars to another fantastic American road course, this time Watkins Glen International, newly remastered. As you can see, that red and white curbing in Turn 1 in the background. Boy, love that place. As it says, love New York there in Turn 1. Fantastic racetrack. Glad we have the new runoff. Glad we have the new curbing and racing surface and everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. A nice little treat there right before Christmas time with those GT1 cars, the Chevrolet Corvette C6 and the Aston Martin DBR9. And Caleb, there's a few places. If people want to get involved with Pit Stop TV, check out Pit Stop TV, see all of our posts throughout the week and our broadcasts. A few places to pay attention to.
Follow Pit Stop TV on social media, Facebook.com, Pit Stop TV, Twitter, Pit Stop TV _, Instagram.com, Pit_TV. Pit Stop TV 1 is where you can find it on YouTube. Obviously, you want to keep up with all the social media to check in and see what's upcoming on these broadcasts Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, as Emerson and Andrew broke down what's upcoming. I'm looking forward to that Outlaw Sim Series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, myself, home track there in Hampton, Georgia. And as Emerson said, the old configuration, so you better bring lots of tires if you want to win there at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
I love the little moment we had there. I stared down the screen kind of waiting for it. I'm just so used to throwing that over to Joe or JP or whoever we have. But thank you there, Caleb. Yeah, plenty of great places to keep out an eye, I guess, on our social medias. All of our streams go to our social media as well, aside from Instagram. We stream to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, the whole lot of them. So we got a lot of places to watch, a lot of places to keep up to date, a lot of places just for Pit Stop TV in general. Final thoughts, though, Caleb, from Cedar Lake. I know this is your first experience with the BRP iRacing series. You got plenty of dirt racing in your blood, though, and, well, you're back with us next week at USA.
Well, I think one of the beauties of Pit Stop TV and iRacing is I get to broadcast races at tracks that I might not necessarily get a chance to, like this Cedar Lake Speedway, and it lived up to the expectations. We saw slide job after slide job battling for the lead. The heat races were perfect, trying to knock out drivers, moving them into the consolation races, and those were cutthroat as well. But nonetheless, great racing here at Cedar Lake Speedway, and I got to check off a track on my bucket list, at least in iRacing terms.
Yeah, this track is certainly up there for my bucket list. I've got to, at some point, go up to New Richmond, Wisconsin, see this place for myself. Always races great, especially here at the BRP iRacing series. Sure, there were some spills, but it was just great racing the entire way through. A lot of great saves, a lot of great 3-wide battles, 4 wide at times. This place is a treat. And if there's another track maybe to add on for a second race each season, maybe Cedar Lake is on the running for it. Great stuff this evening, and very much looking forward to whatever comes next. We've got a pretty solid schedule, actually. Let's talk about it. USA International Speedway down in Lakeland, Florida next up. Then Kokomo to end the year of 2021. Flip over to 2022. Kicks off with Volusia, then Lanier. So that's down in your stopping grounds there, there, Caleb. That's down around there. Bristol in January, followed up by Fairbury and Eldora. And Charlotte ends the series, but kicks off February.
Well, you mentioned Lanier Raceplex, and that's one of those races I'm looking forward to tuning in right here. Lanier, just a couple hours up the road from where I'm currently located at right now. Lanier Raceplex always putting on a good show right there in Brazelton, Georgia. But I think that's the perfect track for the finale. The dirt track at Charlotte always produces something good, and if this point slot battle continues to tighten up, I think it's going to be one for the ages down there in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems like the place to go for a finale, right? That's just kind of how it works out in dirt racing. Of course, the World Racing Group takes the World of Outlaws and the Super Dirt Car Series down there every November for their season finale races. Of course, the World Finals down at the dirt track at Charlotte. We thank you so much for tuning in this evening, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast from the virtual Cedar Lake Speedway in the virtual New Richmond, Wisconsin. It has been a treat having you all along for the ride. For all of Pit Stop TV, in this case, I had Caleb Gladney alongside Emerson Arden also in tow. It's been a lot of fun. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you once again for tuning in, joining us for tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time out. Make sure to be here Wednesday for the Outlaw Sim Series.